The silent treatment is a manipulative tactic that involves withholding communication from someone who desires it. It is often used to inflict punishment or assert power in a relationship. Despite its seemingly quiet nature, the impact of the silent treatment can be profound, evoking feelings of frustration, isolation, and helplessness in the recipient. In this video, we will explore 10 insightful quotes about the silent treatment and delve into their meaning. Silence is the most powerful scream. When communication breaks down, silence can speak volumes. This quote emphasizes that the lack of verbal response is a loud message in itself. The silent treatment screams many things: anger, the need for space, or a desire for control. It can be challenging to interpret what the silence means, but the message it sends can be just as hurtful and confusing as words spoken in anger. The silent treatment is the destroyer of self-esteem and a recipe for alienation. John Gottman, a renowned relationship expert, highlights the destructive power of the silent treatment. By denying acknowledgement and communication, the individual administering the silent treatment can erode the recipient's self-worth. Alienation creeps in as the psychological distance between individuals grows, disrupting any foundation of mutual respect and understanding. Silence is a relationship killer. It is a form of emotional abuse. Labeling silence as lethal, this quote focuses on how the silent treatment can be considered a form of emotional abuse. Such behavior can be used to manipulate and control another person, damaging the trust and bond shared in a relationship. The inability or refusal to communicate drives a wedge between people, one that sometimes proves to be irreparable. When silence is used as a weapon, it can wound even more than words. Dr. Weber, a clinical psychologist, offers insight into the silent treatment's often underestimated potential for harm. Silence can indeed wound, sometimes more than an onslaught of hurtful words, because it leaves the wounded party ruminating over their perceived misdeeds without the possibility of resolution or closure. Withholding communication is an attempt to demonstrate control, but it can spiral out of control and lead to unintended consequences. This perspective from Psychology Today suggests that while the silent treatment is employed to assert dominance, it's a strategy that can quickly backfire. The stifling silence can incite more significant issues, such as built-up resentment, which may trigger an unfavorable chain reaction in the dynamics of a relationship. The silent treatment is not a coping mechanism, it's emotional warfare. Taking a firm stand, Charles Glassman, a coach and physician, labels the silent treatment as a tactless act of emotional aggression rather than conventional wisdom's coping strategy. His viewpoint suggests that using silence is engaging in a clandestine battle that risks the emotional well-being of both parties involved. Using the silent treatment is like using sarcasm. It may be effective in the moment, but it can leave lasting damage to the relationship. Aaron Carmen's quote proposes a parallel between the silent treatment and sarcasm, noting that while it may serve its short-term purpose, it can have residual effects that eat away at the foundations of a relationship. The silent treatment is being sentenced without committing a crime. Author Kevin Darnay plays on the imagery of judgment and punishment without due process. His words strike at the heart of the silent treatment, an involuntary isolation imposed on an individual often without a clear understanding of the reason for being treated that way. The silent treatment is a passive-aggressive act that can speak louder than venomous words. Finally, Leanne White encapsulates the silent treatment's nature as passive-aggressive behavior where the absence of communication can have a louder impact than confrontational words. The silence is steeped in aggression, though it presents itself as a passive act. In exploring the impact of the silent treatment through these quotes, it quickly becomes evident that silence can be anything but golden. Far from being a benign retreat, the silent treatment carries with it a payload of emotional subtext, resonance, and impact, each capable of fundamentally altering relationships. While navigating difficult conversations or relationship dynamics, it's critical to find healthful forms of communication that respect the dignity of all involved. As these quotes suggest, opting for dialogue over silence often paves the way for understanding, healing, and growth. Remember, if you're on the receiving end of the silent treatment, seek support from friends, family, or professionals who can provide guidance. And if you're prone to using the silent treatment, consider the long-term effects it may have on those around you and your relationships. Open communication remains the keystone of any strong and healthy relationship. For more inspiration, visit www.carlacorelli.com.